Hello, this is Red Pill, Blue Pill Choices with Curtis Harris for another exciting video. Relationships are very challenging. Um, Say 50% of marriages end in divorce for one reason or another. Cheating, they say men cheat at a 28% rate, but women cheat, they say at a 25% rate. I'm here to share some information with you from Sadia Psychology. This lady is a psychologist and she understands how to identify red flags. If you're looking for a relationship with someone, male or female, that will be loyal, that is has integrity, and that wants a relationship, most importantly, wants a relationship. These are the signs. These are the these are the uh, the green flags as opposed to the red flags that you should be looking for. So, without further ado, I bring to you how to never get cheated on.
Women are delusional with what they want. Women have been hijacked with liberal values. Even women are now using women as sexual objects. We define hypergamy by, can I manipulate you, yes or no? Yes, of course, I would love it if you can just get as fat as you want and not make an effort ever again, and no worries, you'll still be loyal. But it's just not realistic. I always say men get cheated on so much more than women do.
I want to talk about cheating.
Yeah.
So how do men put themselves in a situation where they can avoid the kind of woman that's going to cheat on them?
Here's the thing with men. This is a really key difference why I always say men get cheated on so much more than women do. With women, we enter relationships with the assumption the man is going to cheat at some stage, and then we're looking for evidence that he's not going to do it. So we go in with our, red, alertness on. Most women, and I think there's an evolutionary reason for that, because obviously we don't want to be left pregnant and all these things. So most women, when they meet a man, they'll start to check his online, when he's online, who he's following, and then over time, they earn the trust and like, okay, I can relax. He's actually quite good. Like, I haven't seen any problems. Perfect. With men, they go into relationships with the assumption she would never. They go in with this naivety when they're dating that, why? No girl would. And the other thing men do is, because they've selected a woman, they want to justify their selection. So they assume she's a great girl. They assume she's a good girl simply because they've selected her, not because she's earned any of those values. So what happens is they ignore a lot of the behaviors that predict cheating. And the behaviors that predict cheating are so easy to see, but they avoid those and they just focus on what they like, because particularly if they're sexually satisfied, they will literally avoid all the evidence. So how they get cheated on is they go into it with a naivety. Now, men who have been with lots of women will tell you that women are no more innocent than men are. They've been on the receiving end when they've been in bed with a girl and she's called her boyfriend and said, oh, I'm just going to be home. They've seen that side of women. Some men have never seen that side of women. So they just think that doesn't exist. So what happens is they go in with a little bit of naivety and they literally take words over behaviors. As soon as a woman says, oh, no, I don't do this, or I'm a traditional woman, they won't look at it. They'll say, well, she's a traditional woman, but she's been on a private jet recently, or she's gone on holiday and she didn't tell me who she's going with, or, she's always in the club and she doesn't tag me or anything. They don't connect the dots. They simply go by what she says rather than what she does. And I notice this particularly with men who have terrible relationships with their fathers and just grow up in a single parent home. I always say men who grow up in a single parent home are far more likely to be cheated on. And the reason I believe that is, when you grow up with just one parent, you have only one version of events. You only have a female perspective of the world. You kind of just think, okay, what mom says is almost true because you don't have a way of fact checking it. When you grow up with your mom and dad, you see that mom also, she can be a bit annoying. Dad is difficult sometimes. You see the dynamic and you can fact check the truth and you validate what is being said. When men grow up with just a female perspective, they start to go into the real world believing everything a woman says and not double checking it. So when she says, oh, my ex was so controlling, he used to always think I was cheating on him, he won't say, why did he think you were cheating? Or did you do anything? They'll just think, oh my God, how he's so toxic. I'm going to prove I'm so much better than him and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you do whatever you want. They just adapt to her perspective. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is because they grew up not seeing what a wife looks like, not seeing that women, they tend to come home when they're happy. They don't always go on holidays with their friends. They don't come home super late. They don't stay over really. Like, when they're married, they kind of stay home they want to come home to their husband. They didn't get to see that growing up. So when their woman is hyper independent, they don't see it as a signal that she's not attached. They just see it as this is how women come. And therefore, they select women who are usually more likely to cheat on them because she has those traits of a single woman that they don't notice. They don't notice. Does that make any sense? Or is that...
It does. I assume the things that you went through are the behaviors that predict. So they're going out clubbing. Yeah. They're not taking you. What are the things that if somebody's being naive, that they're being naive about? So certainly that women are capable of it.
Yeah.
But, oh God, I hate to even say this, but like, what are the red flags? What do people look
here's
for?
the main naive thing. They simply think that if they treat her better than what she normally goes for, they've got no competition. So what I mean by that is they'll walk into a room and they'll be like, I'm the richest guy here. Oh, I've got no competition. Or I'm the tallest guy she's been with. Oh, I've got no competition. Your competition is not defined by other men. Your competition is by how loose her boundaries are and her values. You could be the best looking man she knows. You could be the richest man she knows. But if she is somebody who really values independence and really, really values her own kind of liberation, she will not care if she's cheating with someone less than you, more than you, whatever it is. It's her desire to be independent and not be caged. Now, what they'll do is they have this false sense of security that they've created for themselves rather than based on her behavior. Your sense of security should come from her level of dedication. How do you monitor her dedication? She naturally respects the relationship more than her independence. And so what I mean by that is, yes, she might want to go to Mykonos every summer and she might want to go Monaco, but she understands that, when you're in a relationship, in those environments, it can get a little bit tricky. So I'll go, but I'll probably want my husband there. Or I probably want what they think is my woman would never. They don't think.
I think that's a very key point that she's making. You need to find someone, for those who really still believe in relationships, marriage. You need to find someone who values the relationship more than their individuality. We're in a hyper individualistic society now, especially with the feminist movement. You have your passport bros. You have men who have just given up on Western women. They believe that there's no hope for a family-oriented relationship. Many men, believe it or not, many men really want a family. And we believe in the fairy tale life of of a happy marriage, and raising children. Men, believe it or not, go through hell when they go through divorce, and statistics will tell you that a lot of men check out. They unalive themselves as a result of the trauma that they experience as a result of divorce and child support, that issue alone. So it's so important that men, especially men in this day and age, learn how to choose properly, learn how to select a mate properly. And this message is really for my sons. I have a 21-year-old son. Today, as a matter of fact, happy birthday. I have an 18-year-old son and a 36-year-old son. And they're all single, and I'm encouraging them to find that special person that they want to spend the rest of their lives with, because we were not meant to live alone or to be alone. Mankind, as it were, was created for community. We were designed to live in a community um, from the beginning of time. And it's just in the last 50 or 60 years that things have taken a turn for the worse, especially in the Black community. But hopefully, this video will help you um, learn how to properly vet or choose that individual who you're thinking about spending the rest of your life with. If I were you, I wouldn't fall in love with just her looks, her curves. Um, I would listen to the advice that this lady, Sadia, is offering. So, without further ado, let's get back to Sadia psychology.
Think that my mom. Are you a successful man who has achieved endless heights in his career? Are you somebody who's absolutely made it in his professional life, but his personal life just doesn't seem to match up? Are you somebody who goes through intense highs in business, but intense lows in your personal relationships? You might be somebody who has been blocking out relationships or entering relationships where you don't feel appreciated, or it's lacking the sexual or emotional intimacy that you require. If this sounds like you, then I have a program specifically catered to your needs. I've been helping high-end clients for a really long time, and I'm able to identify the exact problems, the exact causes, and the exact solutions. So if this sounds like you, then please feel free to register below your details.
Being naive about. So certainly that women are capable of it.
Yeah.
But oh God, I hate to even say this, but like, what are the red flags? What do people
Well,
look
here's
for?
the main naive thing. They simply think that if they treat her better than what she normally goes for, they've got no competition. So what I mean by that is they'll walk into a room and they'll be like, I'm the richest guy here. Oh, I've got no competition. Or I'm the tallest guy she's been with. Oh, I've got no competition. Your competition is not defined by other men. Your competition is by how loose her boundaries are and her values. You could be the best looking man she knows. You could be the richest man she knows. But if she is somebody who really values independence and really, really values her own kind of liberation, she will not care if she's cheating with someone less than you, more than you, whatever it is. It's her desire to be independent and not be caged. Now, what they'll do is they have this false sense of security that they've created for themselves rather than based on her behavior. Your sense of security should come from her level of dedication. How do you monitor her dedication? She naturally respects the relationship more than her independence. And so what I mean by that is, yes, she might want to go to Mykonos every summer, and she might want to go Monaco, but she understands that, when you're in a relationship, in those environments, it can get a little bit tricky. So I'll go, but I'll probably want my husband there, or I probably want you. What they think is my woman would never. They don't think that my actual loyal women would rather not put themselves in those environments. They have this mentality that she wouldn't because I'm the best she has. But if you were truly the best she has, she wouldn't put herself in those environments. So look at her choices, look at what she chooses to do. And if she places herself in environments where alternatives are presented regularly, she does that, then she's probably not satisfied. And the other thing that they forget is some men, particularly young men in this generation, if she's bisexual or if she brings other women in and this, that, and the other, they're actually very happy about that. They really love that. They're like, oh my God, she's so cool. She got other women involved. The biggest chokehold you can have on a woman is when you're the only person that is able to sexually satisfy her. When you invite other people in, and man, woman, whatever it is, you're opening the door for her climaxing because of somebody else outside of you. You lose your chokehold in that moment. I see some of these really like red pill kind of guys who be like, oh, my woman, she lets me get with other girls and she even joins in. And the moment she can climax because of somebody other than you, you lose your chokehold over her. There is women out there.
That is such an important point. Um, we're in a society now that values poly relationships, meaning many, more than just the two of you, for intimacy and the like. Now, of course, in the African tradition, of course, we had, many men have had more than one wife, and that was a cultural issue. To this very day, it still exists. But here in the West, in the United States specifically, there is a monogamous model: one man, one woman. I'm not going to talk about the alphabet community. That's not what this video is about. But God bless you if that's who you are, and if that's what you adhere to and subscribe to. But you have to be very, very careful in this day and age um, of relationships, because people, I tell you, it's a challenging time, and I really feel bad for my children in the year 2024. Um, to find someone that they can spend the rest of their lives with, raise a family, and have a healthy and happy relationship. Uh, I think it will be very, very challenging. So that's why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. But anyway, I ask you to subscribe to this channel so that we can share more content like this to help you exit the matrix. That's why we call this channel Red Pill, Blue Pill Choices. It's your choice which way you want to go. But let's get back to the video.
There that I know that are beautiful, got many options, but because they haven't been with many men and they're a bit like scared of their man, they'll stay loyal to him even if he's in jail. They won't go anywhere because they haven't tried other men. But other women, that because the man has opened that door for her and invited other stimulants into the relationship, you lose your ability to get complete and utter sexual submission from her when you invite too many alternatives for her.
Okay. All right. This is very interesting. All right. So the first thing you said that really sparked me is this idea that too much independence is a problem. So remember,
men and women, by the way, I just want to make that
Fair
clear. It's
use.
for men and women. I would say that.
This started with what should guys avoid if they want to avoid being cheated on?
Yeah.
And the answer is somebody who's too independent.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Okay. So you're looking out for somebody that you want, somebody that puts the relationship ahead of the independence. They're willing to give something up to get that.
Yeah.
How do you begin to draw boundaries around that? Like, what is the right amount of submission to the relationship? And at what point does it become controlling or stifling?
Reasonable requests are not controlling. And what I mean by reasonable requests is objectively we can agree. It's not about me, it's not about you. We can agree that this isn't good for the relationship. So objectively, it might be the case that, let's say you're going to live abroad for a couple of years or a couple of months, whatever. It's probably not good for the relationship. We can objectively agree on that. And even if it was the other way around, we would both agree. Or objectively, we would agree that going out a lot on weekends, drinking alcohol, is not good for the relationship. So it's when we can both agree that it's not unreasonable. The way to handle boundaries as a man is you don't sit there and beg her to listen to you, and you don't sit there and be like, if you can't do that, you see her own choices and you decide if it is an appropriate selection for you to be with this woman. You don't force her to change. You allow her to live how she wants to live, and then you let her know what you prefer. And give her time. But if she decides this is not how she wants to live, instead of being like, well, we got to do this, you got to listen to me, I'm the man, I'm this, you just say, okay, fair enough, I totally want you to live the life you want, but it's not compatible with the values and boundaries I have. Instead, what they do is they stay there, get really controlling, really aggressive, and be like, you need to listen to me, but in that moment she learns you don't have a willingness to walk away. She learns it, and that is something you never want to teach, man or woman. You don't want to teach anybody that you have no willingness to walk away. Instead, what you want to teach them is the relationship means something to you. You want to protect this relationship through boundaries, and you want them to meet you in the middle with that. If they do that, fantastic. If they choose not to, the goal is not to be with you. The goal is to have a good relationship. If you don't want this, we're not going to have a good relationship. So no worries. I wish you the best. The toxicity comes from the inability to walk away.
That's one of those that It's so simple, but it really is true. As you were talking, I was like, is there really anything other than leaning away from somebody when they do a behavior that you don't like, leaning in when they do a behavior that you do, and having a willingness to walk away? That's sort of the game.
That's the only thing. And it works for men and women. It works for men and women. Like, you can sit there and beg your husband to come home on time. You can do all of these things. But the only thing that works is your willingness to walk away. Now, you might say, no, I walked away and they still didn't change. Then that person doesn't want you enough. That's a signal. Instead of begging that person to want you, accept their choices. If they don't want you enough and you still want to be with them, then let them live the life they want. But if you walked away and they didn't change, they don't want the relationship enough.
Yeah.
So don't keep using that.
That's exactly what I say. You know, the old saying, if you love someone, let them go. And if they come back, they were meant for you. If they don't, it never was meant for you. Anyway, I'm going to stop right at this point right here. If you want to see the rest of this video, I encourage you to go to Sadia Psychology. She's on YouTube, and she shares some very, very interesting golden nuggets of information from a psychological point of view. For those who have not given up on relationships here in the West, I encourage you to learn how to vet, how to examine an individual's value system, and to see if it's compatible with your own. First of all, you have to have your own value system. You must know your boundaries, what you like, what you do not like, what you're willing to accept, and what you're not willing to accept. So, with that being said, I hope you got something out of this video. And if I encourage you, please, to like this video, please comment on it. Let me know what you think. And subscribe, please. Thank you for all of those who have already subscribed. Our subscribers are on the increase. According to our demographics, we have more men than women from ages 40 on up. And that's reasonable because, I usually deal with a lot of mature subject matter. But anyway, this is Curtis Harris of Red Pill, Blue Pill Choices. Until next time, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great, great day. Bye-bye.